Hello, everyone. My name is April Broome, and today I'm going to discuss the comparative assessment between the classical and Keynesian economic theories. I'm going to start with a presentation of my outline. So I'm going to discuss and introduce the purpose of the study. I'm going to talk about the focus of the study and the analysis behind it, the methodology used, talk a little bit about the literature review of the political, classical, and Keynesian economic theories. Then I will move to discuss the results, those findings of comparison, and then through the conclusion, I'll wrap up the study. So let's begin. The purpose of this study is to discuss the similarities and differences between the Keynesian and political economic theories. Through assessing the political economy, this can help provide a foundation of comparison of these two theories by focusing on market self-regulation, separability, and the division of society. The comparative method develops strong claims about cause and effect and helps test questions and hypotheses through factual evidence to determine why the variables work the way that they do. So we're going to focus on some research questions in that comparative method. Those are, how does the Keynesian economic approach to separability of the economy differ from the baseline classical approach? How does the classical theory's basis of market self-regulation differ from the Keynesian approach to instability and the underutilization of resources in the market? How does the social purpose of the classical approach to the growth of society's productive capacity differ from the Keynesian approach? Now, this comparative method that I used was the most different systems design. That compares cases that are different, but answers questions based on similarities between the cases. So for this study, the most different system method focuses on the different theories of classical and Keynesian economics, and the similar factors that they encompass are the market self-regulation, separability of the economy, and a society's social purpose. What is the political economy? So the political economy includes both politics or government, public life, authoritative allocation of values, and economics, which is the way individuals do something, the way that they satisfy their wants and needs through goods accumulation. The relationship between politics and economics, assessed through main frameworks over the last few hundred years, include the classical, Marxian, Keynesian, and neoclassical economic theories. So the political economy really encompasses those activities and institutions that make authoritative decisions for the society as a whole, the political, and the institutional reality of the market, the economy. So it comprises the management of individuals' economic affairs through want satisfaction by an otherwise public authority. Now, Caporoso and Levine define it as a theoretical relationship between economics and politics, while Achimoglu and Robinson describe it as the impact of economic development through government policies and institutions shaping economic incentives. However, Cosa then adds that it is a public, social, and national economy of nations and states through social ordering of the guiding principles of public and private wealth. The political economy, therefore, it studies social phenomenon in terms of wealth through investigating the causes in relation to public and private well-being. And it's a political approach provides the context of the situation, while the economic approach explains what we do and why. The classical economic approach, it focuses on market self-regulation and the theory of value and distribution through two core ideas, the separability of the economy and the dominance of the economic sphere. Now, market self-regulation states that the markets are the most efficient when individuals are both the buyers of the exchange money for commodities and the sellers who acquire money to make self-satisfying purchases. Say's law states that there is an impossibility of systemic market failure. Instead, it's the failure of the individual. So the classical economists favor the notion that market failure is caused by outside factors, not the market itself. Now, the theory of value and distribution discusses the link between the division of labor and exchange of commodities. So the price of production is the price that allows a commodity to be both an input and an output. Consumption leads to the reproductive cycle. Consumption of subsistence produces labor, which produces output, and that includes subsistence. So when the price of a commodity equals its total cost of production, a surplus will equal a profit. The Keynesian economic theory begins with the general theory of unemployment, interest, and money by John Maynard Keynes. And He questioned the claims of market self-regulation. He argued that an unregulated market will fully utilize a society's productive potential. He encouraged a reconsideration of the relationship of politics and markets and opposed the view of Adam Smith's invisible hand. Instead, the Keynesian view sets limits on wage contracts and includes government involvement in regulating the production and distribution of wealth. Caproso and Levine discussed that economists of the Keynesian approach accept the capitalist economies will not make full use of the resources available to them. Kalecki adds that this leads to circular instability, undermining the classical conclusion that markets regulate themselves. So the economic cycle is the circulatory process that the Keynesian economists believe and move through. It's a circular flow and includes mutual and reciprocal determinants. The cycle is a culmination into an expectational loop where there is a dependence on the continuation of current conditions to continue the cycle. It emphasizes the link between instability, the cumulative process, and the short-run perspective. In the political economy, which leads discussions to labor and capital markets, in the Keynesian approach, the political economy includes the expectations of demand as a driver of investment decisions with regards to wage contracts and savings. The labor market is at the center of the Keynesian discussion of instability. It is where most individuals acquire their livelihood, and the wage contracts link demand of products to wages and employment. Therefore, employment depends on indeterminate demand, So let's talk about our results. So the classical theory on market self-regulation focuses on that, while the Keynesian theory really includes individual investments to promote market circulation. However, both systems do agree that there is a social purpose to society. So back to those research questions I began with, how does the Keynesian economic approach to separability of the economy differ from the baseline classical approach? The classical approach follows Adam Smith's invisible hand perspective and maintains that individuals held all the cards when it came to the market. They were the buyers and the sellers. In this system, there's no need for government intervention to assist in the market. The production of subsistence was held within the family setting, and the division of labor was secondary to the decisions and goals set by the family. So an important factor in the classical approach is that the process of reproduction and distribution of commodities must be stable. Now, the Keynesian approach assesses the separability of public authority and private affairs by reconsidering the relationship of politics to markets. In order to decrease instability in the market, governments can stimulate demand by implementing government spending or government revenue to purchase private goods, government borrowing, and taxes. Thus, the government either offsets deficiencies by inadequate private investment, or the government transfers income from the employed to unemployed by borrowing or taxation. Question 2, how does the classical theory's basis of market self-regulation differ from the Keynesian approach to instability in the underutilization of resources in the market? The classical economic theory consists of a circular production process where outputs from one production process are the inputs to another production process. So the flows from output to input must return to its starting point and begin again. This theory contends that while an individual may fail, the entire market will not fail. Additionally, there's no need for individuals to hold money as it satisfies no need, nor did it continue the cycle of production. The Keynesian economic theory advances the classical critique of market self-regulation and contends that markets will satisfy wants as much as possible given the means available. It focuses on the instability of the reproduction cycle and growth in the capitalist economy. It argues that instability undermines market self-regulation because the social and private ends that justify the organization of economic lives also justifies restricting movement within markets due to institutional changes like regulation and policy. Question 3, how does the social purpose of the classical approach to growth of society's productive capacity differ from the Keynesian approach? So the classical economic theory includes the division of social classes as a means for the distribution of income. It assumes that private wealth accumulation is served by private ownership in individual, resulting in growth of society's productive capacity. This social purpose includes the accumulation of means of production held by individual private ends that were liquid to be easily used and acquired wants and needs. So the individual was in control of supply and demand. On the other hand, the Keynesian approach to social purpose refuted the classical dilemma involving the process of growth of social wealth and the part played by the individual property owner. The resolution included private corporations as capital stock owners of private property, not individuals. The individual could own shares in the stock, the liquid short run, which left the corporation as the owner of the means of production, the investing long run. The corporation provided the individual with a way to hold and accumulate wealth in liquid form. So, the political economy is an interdependent system of buyers and sellers. The circular process of inputs and outputs is held solely by individuals in the classical approach, claiming that complete market failure is impossible. The classical approach claims that if the circular process continues, the market will always be in full use, and any failure is on the part of an individual, not the systemic issue of the whole. The Keynesian approach maintains that the market will not be fully utilized and that government assistance in the market is accepted due to the instability the market creates through unequal income distribution. This instability contributes to investment and savings for a society through unequal distribution. While both theories do agree that there is a social purpose to a society, the classical approach believes that this is served through a class system specifically held in the family setting, and the Keynesian approach asserts that income distribution and investment play a large role for the society as a whole. So as long as the rich invest a large portion of their income, the lower income level will survive and the market will continue its circular path. Thank you and have a wonderful day.